Now, many people may not agree with what I have to say, but our framework of morality comes from life itself. Ancient people of the past, our ancestors, their understanding of morality came from life and death. I'm going to explain. Whatever leads to life, whatever is conducive to life, whatever helps promote life was considered good. Whatever promoted death was considered bad. The quality of life, if it improves, if it's better, if you don't bring harm upon yourself and bring harm upon others, is considered good. If you bring harm upon yourself and if you bring harm upon other people and you exhibiting a poor quality of life, that is considered bad. That's where our morals come from. That's it. Life and death, good and bad, right? That's pretty much where our ideas of morality comes from. Now, whether it is innate or whether it comes from a divine being, that is another discussion. However, our morals come from what our ancestors saw in everyday life. For instance, if I'm to help somebody else and I can help myself to live a better life, that would be considered good. If I bring destruction upon other people, if I bring destruction upon myself, that would be considered bad. All right? That's pretty much it. It's that simple. Now, this is where morality becomes very difficult because sometimes good intentions lead to bad outcomes and bad intentions leads to good outcomes. So you can use, and what I mean by that is you can use evil for good and sometimes you can use good for evil. Right? Because good and evil is constantly present and is always forever intertwining, right? The best example would be, we all know that killing is wrong. Killing is evil. However, when you're killing in the context of protecting yourself or protecting your loved ones, then it will be classified as good, right? Bad intentions lead to good outcomes. Now, let's say good intentions lead to bad outcomes. Let's say, for instance, Bob says, you know what? I need to take a certain medication, right? So I can live longer, prolong my life. But let's say Bob takes the wrong medication. He had good intentions, but then because he took the wrong medication, he ended up dying. Or he gave somebody the wrong medication by accident, right? And it happens many times in the medical field where doctors prescribe medication thinking it will be a good thing, but it has adverse or negative repercussions and that person end up dying. Now, no matter how much good intention that the doctor had or Bob had, it led to a negative outcome. It led to an evil result. You see? And this is where morality becomes very tricky in that sense because it's not so much the intention but the consequences of the intentions that we determine is good or bad. You see? Morality is a very hard subject to tackle, right? Only because everybody's definition of morality or everybody's principle of morality, what governs them to do good and evil is different, right? I would like to first say that morality is absolutely based on the community and the nation that you live in. Your moral principles and your moral beliefs comes from a system that's been passed down from your community, right? Or your specific nation. For instance, right? What I believe to be right and wrong is based on the nation that I live in, is based on the community that I live in. A person from another nation, right? A person from another country, they may view things right and wrong based on their community and their nation. Their laws is for them to be governed by their laws. What does that mean? What I find moral, maybe another country may find immoral. What I find immoral, another country might find moral. You see? So this is why morality is hard, because if I say, based on my moral principles, stealing is not good, period, and that should be a punishable crime, another nation might say, you know what? Stealing is wrong, but in certain cases, stealing is okay. For instance, stealing food for yourself because you're poor, or stealing food for your family is acceptable. We have a disagreement, right? Because my moral belief states that stealing, regardless if you're stealing food for yourself or for your family, is wrong and you should be punished. But somebody else may say, no, that's not right. Stealing in this case is okay and that's acceptable. You see, this is why morality is so hard. Now, I cannot impose my moral beliefs and principles on somebody else who does not want to submit themselves under my morals and my beliefs. And this is where a lot of Christians and a lot of Muslims, I think, fail tremendously, horribly, right? Because Christian people impose their ideals, their moral beliefs on other people that are not Christian. Muslims impose their beliefs and moral positions or moral standings on other people, and it doesn't work like that, right? There's historical evidence too to prove that Christians and Muslims have forced people to follow and abide by their rules and morals and their God. If not, the penalty would be death. And that in itself is immoral, right? But, so, having stated that, we, as human beings all over the world, the 7.5 billion people or maybe 8 billion people in the world, have not agreed on a global or universal sense of morality and principles. We have not agreed upon those things. And this is why you can say a lot of immoral practices have been going on, and people have not been punished for these immoral practices, right? We, as human beings, have never defined what is moral in a global sense for every person to abide by on earth. We have not. Now, this is the beauty of having a unified global sense of morality and principles. This is the beauty of it. No matter where you go to, no matter what country you go to, we can all, if we did have a global sense of morality, if everybody agreed or came up with a set of rules for every human on earth to abide by, we can find a measure of peace in this world. I'm not going to say it's perfect because humans are not perfect, but we can find a measure of peace, right? So, where do we begin? How do we even begin to define morality for every human being on this planet? Well, this is where I think we start taking the best from every philosophy and every religion and every spiritual system. We take the best of the best, and whatever overlaps, I think this is where we begin in a universal or global morality. Where do we begin? I personally do believe that we need to begin with the concept of Ubuntu, humanity. I am because we are. I think that is a great foundation to have. After we have that, then I say we implement the last 6 laws in the 10 Commandments or Hammurabi's Code. The last 6 commandments of the 10 Commandments and Hammurabi's Code. And they state, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, honor your father and your mother, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's goods, thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife or goods, and all those things like that. I think that's a second place we can start. We could begin. Another place that we could begin is the concept of yin yang, right? The light side states, I will not commit evil, right? And the dark side, I will not tolerate evil. I think that's another place to begin as well. Those 3 philosophies, those 3 different ideas are a great foundation to begin with in order to tackle this global morality. These things begin in the East. I wholeheartedly believe Eastern philosophy, Eastern ways of living is better, or they have a better systemic principles on how to live in accordance with one another. Is it perfect? No. This is why I'm combining the best of everything. This is why I'm trying to combine the best of every philosophy or religion or spiritual system and combining them in order to find what we all can agree on in a global sense, right? Comment down below where else do you think we need to begin? But I think the foundation is Ubuntu. Understanding somebody's humanity. I am because we are. I think is one of the best foundations to have. If we start off from there, we can start building from there, and we can find something that's agreed upon for everybody. Forget the food. Forget the food. Food has nothing to do with good or bad. Forget the food, because, you know, one person may eat one thing, another person may say, no, that's not good for your body. Food has nothing to do with, in this sense, what's moral or what's right. Food has nothing to do with it. Music has nothing to do with it. Lyrics, however, can be part of the discussion. Instrumentals, no. But lyrics can be part of the discussion. What is considered good lyrics? What is considered bad lyrics? Culture, culture culture is tricky. Culture is tricky. Culture is very tricky. Yeah, tell me what you think. Please subscribe to my channel. Tell me what you think. Tell me what other philosophies need to be added. What other spiritual systems need to be added. Yeah, tell me what your thoughts are.